Hello, everybody, and welcome back. My name is Don Arleth, and it's time for World Talks here on TVP World. Finally, a deal has been reached after 15 grueling months for both sides. The war between Israel and Hamas may just finally come to an end. The announcement of a deal brokered by the United States, Qatar, and Egypt may put an end to the fighting and see all of the Israeli hostages released or returned. The deal includes 3 critical phases, each stage being separated by 6 weeks. But a lot can still go wrong, and the first cracks are already starting to show. Now joining me to discuss the deal is Marcin Krzyżanowski, Middle East expert at Jagiellonian University. Hello, and thank you very much for joining me on World Talks.
Good afternoon, and thank you for your invitation.
Now, do you believe that this is a good deal? You know, they say the best deals are when neither side is happy. What is your assessment?
Definitely is a good deal, as long as the terms of it will be fulfilled by both sides. As you mentioned, both sides are not fully happy with it. But at the moment, the most important thing is to help civilians trapped in Gaza to receive humanitarian aid and to get them back home. The next step would be turning that ceasefire deal into a kind of long-term start of long-term peace process. However, I'm not sure if the peace deal, real one, not ceasefire, but peace deal, is possible at the moment.
Right. Now, how do you think the gap between the two-state solution after all of this has widened, or has it narrowed?
It is definitely the first option. At the moment, the idea of two-state solution is almost dead. Is in critical condition, to use medical metaphor. There was a big chance for that in the 90s of the last century, but at the moment, I can see no chances to create conditions for two-state solution. At the moment, the Palestinian Authority is trying to regain control over the West Bank. We have effectively 2 different Palestinian Authority, one led by Fatah in West Bank, and second led by Hamas in Gaza Strip. And we have a very strong opposition against any kind of Palestinian state or even autonomy within the current Israeli government. Those opposition is led by ministers Smotrich and Ben-Gvir. They are staunch opponents of any kind of deal with Palestinians, even that ceasefire we are talking about right now.
Right, which also begs the question on the other side, who governs Gaza next?
That's most important questions, as the whole whole 15 months, maybe not war, but battle, because war is something more wider, was to relieve Israelis from Hamas threat. And unfortunately for Israel, Hamas is not defeated. Hamas is still active as a terrorist group. Hamas is still capable military force, although badly damaged, and still in charge of political authority of Gaza Strip. And the worst thing is that at the moment there is no alternative to Hamas rule in Gaza. So even if the a ceasefire agreement will be put in place, even if terms will be fulfilled, I'm afraid that sooner or later another battle will begin.
Now, what parts of this deal do you think are the most vulnerable? Can something still go wrong?
Definitely. First of all, in my opinion, the most problematic part is withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza Strip. As long as they are present there, they're able to keep Hamas at bay. They are able to, at least to extent to some level, control the situation. Without physical presence on the ground, Israel will be not able to control the situation. Second issue is stopping the violence, also from the side of Hamas. One rocket fired from Gaza Strip could put the whole ceasefire in tatters, and there are many opponents of ceasefire also within the Hamas.
Now, what do you think about the Trump effect here, with this deal being struck just as Donald Trump is about to be sworn in? How has his election shaped the deal, and what impact do you think his presidency will have on Israeli politics?
For sure, his presidency, his second term, even before it started, will leave a mark on the Middle East, as the first term brought to us Abraham Accords and end of JCPOA deal with Iran. His second term, I'm sure, will be also filled with important milestones. I'm not sure whether it will be good or bad for Middle East or the whole world. But for sure, we will witness very interesting times in the next 4 years.
Now, based on what we've seen since October 7th, how do you think the dynamics of the Middle East have been reshaped as a result of the war with Hamas and even Hezbollah and the conflict with Iran?
The two most important things are the end of the Bashar al-Assad regime in Syria and end of political impasse over the presidency in Lebanon. Those two factors are crucial for the future of the whole Middle East. Especially interesting, especially important is a situation in Syria. Although Assad in the last few months was getting closer to Arab Peninsula countries such as Qatar and Saudi Arabia and started to distance himself from Iran, still he was a valuable and a very important ally of Iran. And Syria, at this territory controlled by government in Damascus, was very important, was crucial part of land road from Iran through Iraq, Syria, to Hezbollah in Lebanon. At the moment, Iran have some troubles with supplying Hezbollah, not to mention Hamas and Houthis. The end of political impasse over the office of the president in Lebanon also shows the current weakness of Hezbollah, as Hezbollah was blocking the election of new president. Now it was weak enough to be forced to get a part in a political compromise.
Yes, we've seen lots of changes in just a few short months. Now, many analysts say that it may be likely that we see a bigger war waged on Iran from Israel. Do you think that there's a potential in 2025 for regime change in Tehran?
I don't think so. The regime has its own problems, and they are numerous, but still can count on support of the majority of Iranian population. Although opposition to it is getting stronger each year, and economical situation of Iran is getting worse each year. So Iranian government, Islamic Republic of Iran, will face a critical danger in the next few years, but not this year.
And talking about how the war has impacted, Israel's standing in the international community and its global perception, Has it been devastated, do you believe, as a result of the last 15 months in the war with Hamas? Or is it recoverable concerning its global international perception?
Definitely, the reputation of Israel and Israeli army was and still is badly damaged. The popularity of Israel hit record low, and it will be decreasing in the nearest future. There is a huge chance that Israel will gradually lose the Western support as more and more of citizens will be against Israeli policy and Israeli aggressive defense.
And now my final question, and it's the million-dollar question, and that is, what is the long-term solution? And I'm giving you just under 2 minutes.
That's the problem. The only solution is to bring, only viable solution is to bring both sides to the negotiation table and create a two-state solution based on compromise based on two-state solution. Although at the moment, in these circumstances, this is absolutely impossible. So I'm afraid that the best we can count on is to freeze the conflict and keep it at very low, let's call it acceptable level. But it is also very problematic. So I'm afraid that sooner or later, just after Hamas will recover itself, just after Hezbollah will recover itself, we will face another major attack on Israel, and we will witness a very harsh response on that attack. History will repeat itself once again.
Unfortunately, no silver bullet for this conflict. Marcin Krzyżanowski, you've done a fantastic job. Thank you very much for getting to all my questions. Very much appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and have a nice evening.
You too. And that concludes this edition of World Talks. Thank you for joining us, and stay with us for more here on TVP World.